Hi everyone, and welcome to our meadow apiary where we had our colonies, or certainly some of our colonies, over the summer months on a borage field. For those of you watching on YouTube, this is probably the first video that we've posted directly to YouTube for most of this year, and my apologies for that, because we've really been so busy this year that we've just not been able to keep up with all of the work that we've basically taken on. And what I'd like to do is to kick off a new series of videos from today, this video, and perhaps over these winter months give you an update as to what we've been getting up to through this year, with a view to then following that on next spring as we develop our business and our honey production through into the summer of next year. So if you have been following us on our Patreon page, you'll have recognised this site. It's where we had quite a number of colonies producing borage honey for the year, and we've come back today really just to take a look through the hives in terms of checking them for winter stores. We're going to do some hefting a bit later, but the real purpose of the video today, and I guess the catalyst for getting back onto our YouTube channel and posting more videos for you, is that again, if you have followed us on Patreon and you listen to our podcast, which is called Beekeeping Short and Sweet, you'll know that we're sponsored on the podcast, certainly, by Simon The Beekeeper, a UK-based supplier of beekeeping equipment. And the very nice people over at Simon The Beekeeper have sent us one of their new bee suits to try, and that's what you see me wearing today. And I just really wanted to show you this new bee suit. We've been using Simon's bee suits for the last couple of years, really, certainly all of this summer season, and they've been absolutely fantastic. They're superb value for money, which of course at the moment is really important to everybody. But this is a new suit that they've sent over to us to try, and I just wanted to go through it with you. We'll obviously give it a full test next spring. There's not a great deal of beekeeping to be done at the moment with the colonies shutting down now for the autumn and winter. But its design is somewhat different to the standard canvas bee suits, poly cotton boiler suit type bee suits that we normally have. So let's just take a look at what we've got, and I'll just talk you through some of the features of it. I'll put a link to Simon's website in the description below, so if you want to go and have a look at it, and again, it's really good value for money, so it's worth taking a look at. But let's just take a look at the suit itself now and have a look at its features. So the first thing to say is that this suit is called the Buzz Defender, and you've probably already noticed that it's kind of made up of a mesh material, and this is a triple layered material, and you will have probably seen other suits of a similar kind where the mesh is actually a little bit thicker, about 1 millimetre thicker than the length of the sting of the honeybee. And so in theory, provided you're not trapping bees and crushing them, a honeybee shouldn't be able to sting through the mesh material, which for some people is really important, to have that confidence that if a bee lands on the suit itself, it's not going to sting you. Then that's really important. Looking at the suit material and actually wearing it, so I'm 6'3", slightly overweight, and this is a 2XL, double XL. It fits quite nicely. There's plenty of room in it. So in talking to the team at Simon The Beekeeper, it's probably best to give them a call for sizing, but the taller you are, the bigger the suit you need to go, because they kind of get a little bit bigger all ways as you go up in the sizing. Fortunately, I'm taller, so a 2XL is because of my height, not because of the distance around my belly, I like to say. Anyway, it's got all the usual pockets, so a couple of front pockets. The front right pocket has the usual little clip for the keys, if you want to put your house keys or your car keys in there. The breast pockets, 2 breast pockets, one neatly holds our microphone, and they're just about big enough for a standard mobile phone. I would say if you're using one of these big chunky mobile phones, you might not get it in the breast pocket because they're, I guess, a little bit snug. But my Huawei P20 fits in there quite nicely, so that's great. Then we've got at the side the usual hive tool pockets, so there's one on both sides, that side and that side, and on the arm we've got pockets for pens. You can pop your pens in there should you use them. In terms of the sizing, if I pull the sleeves down and just push my hands through, what I'm particularly pleased about is that there's plenty of length in the arms. Sometimes some of the suits I've had in the past have been a little bit short in the arms, but these are really quite good. It's got the knee patches as well, so when you're kneeling you can get down on the ground, and it's got some protection for your knees. And really, other than the hood, which I'll come on to in a second, it's a pretty standard build for a bee suit. If I just turn around, you can see the material at the back. It's a nice fit. There's plenty of room in there for me to move around. If I pull the hood up, and it comes with 2 hoods, you've got the fencing hood, which is the one that I've got, and there's a round hood as well. It's a round veil, and when I first started beekeeping I used a round veil. I know that most people tend to favour, I think, this fencing style. So we've got 2 Velcro pads at the front where the zips come down, and then this flap with Velcro on that holds the zip pullers down nice and tightly out of the way, and also seals that gap where the 2 zips come together. If I stand side on, you'll see that the veil, when you lean forward, hangs nicely away from your face, so when you're inspecting your bees you can look down into the beehive knowing that it's not touching your face, that you've not got that worry of the bees stinging you through the veil. And actually it's quite bright and airy inside the hood. Sometimes they can feel a little bit claustrophobic, and the mesh panel is actually really quite clear. I can see quite nicely through it. Again, some of the older style veils tend to be a little bit dark and obscure what you're seeing. And what I do like is the slightly wider panels around the side, which give a lot more light through into the veil and also gives it that nice airy feel. Now for me personally, I don't have too much of a problem. Excuse the Velcro. Let's just take this off. So we've got these Velcro pads here which hold the veil nice and securely, and a nice comfortable collar as well. When I've got the veil up, I don't really have too much of an issue with the bees kind of buzzing around because of the type of bees that we've got at the moment. So if you've got the right kind of bees, then I think wearing this suit, you know, you're going to feel very protected. It also comes as a jacket, so if you wanted to go completely lightweight, and there's not a great deal of weight to the suit, to be honest, if you wanted to go really lightweight you could just wear the jacket. The other thing to say is that it has the standard thumb loops on the cuffs, so the cuffs are elasticated as normal. I tend to wear gloves and pull them over the cuff, so regardless of the thumb loops that you have, I do find that sometimes they get a little bit tight around the thumb. So I tend not to use them anymore, because we pull the gloves over the wrist completely, and we'll normally wear some gauntlets as well. But if you just wanted to wear gloves and you wanted to keep that wrist pulled tightly up to your hand, then wearing the thumb loop is probably a really good idea. It's not too tight, it's not pulling down and restricting the blood flow into my thumb, which is great. And there's plenty of room, as I said earlier, there's lots of room in the arm, so that when you're moving, it's not pulling it in really tight and restricting the blood flow to your thumb. So there we are. I did check on their website for pricing, and I would say go over and take a look at their website for the pricing, because it is a really affordable bee suit. And if you're thinking of getting a bee suit that has good ventilation, so I can feel the breeze coming through into the bee suit, so I'm hoping when we're using this suit next year that in the heat of the summer days it'll still feel quite nice and light and ventilated, and at the moment it's sparkly clean. So there we are, the Simon the Beekeeper Buzz Defender bee suit. Take a look at the website, have a look at the link in the description below, and while I'm here, don't forget to take a look at our Patreon page and check out our podcast. We're going to, and I promise, we're going to produce lots more videos for YouTube coming through in the autumn and winter months, leading on to next summer. We'll look to get, certainly over the winter months, at least one a fortnight, and then into next year we'll aim to produce one a week. But if you want more content, do go and take a look at our Patreon page, where we've now got somewhere in excess of 500 videos and 250 podcasts for you to take a look at and to listen to. My thanks finally to Simon the Beekeeper and the team there for supplying us with this bee suit. I look forward to reporting back next spring and summer as to how well it functions, but for now, thanks for watching.